Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. Your body is sitting on the couch. Nothing dangerous around you. Nothing actually going wrong. But your heart is racing. Your chest feels tight. Your thoughts won't slow down. And your brain is screaming that something is wrong. That invisible alarm going off in your head. That's anxiety. And today I want to show you what anxiety is really doing to your brain. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a motivational quote way. But scientifically, what is actually happening inside your head when anxiety takes control. Now here's the part most people don't realize. Anxiety is not a weakness. It's not you being too sensitive. Anxiety is your brain doing its job, just a little too aggressively. Your brain evolved to keep you alive. Thousands of years ago, anxiety was useful. If a predator was nearby, your brain needed to react instantly. No time to think, no time to analyze. Just survive. The problem is, your brain doesn't know the difference between a lion in the bushes and an unread email, a bill, a social situation, or a thought about the future. To your brain, danger is danger. Deep inside your brain is a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's smoke detector. Its job is to scan everything you see, hear, and think, and decide, is this a threat? When it senses danger, it sends an emergency signal faster than logic can respond. The amygdala doesn't ask questions. It doesn't check facts. It reacts instantly. And in people with anxiety, this smoke detector becomes hypersensitive. It goes off even when there's no fire. The moment your amygdala fires, it activates your fight or flight system. Stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol flood your bloodstream. Your heart rate increases to pump more blood. Your breathing becomes shallow to get oxygen faster. Blood is redirected away from digestion and toward your muscles. This is why anxiety can make you feel nauseous, dizzy, shaky, or disconnected from your body. Your brain is preparing you to run or fight, even though there's nothing to run from. Now here's where it gets really interesting. At the front of your brain sits the prefrontal cortex. This is the rational, logical, decision-making part of your brain. It's responsible for planning, reasoning, focusing, and calming you down. Under normal conditions, the prefrontal cortex keeps the amygdala in check. It basically says, relax. I've looked at the evidence. We're safe. But during anxiety, stress hormones actually weaken the prefrontal cortex. Cortisol reduces its activity, so the very part of your brain that could calm you down goes offline. That's why telling someone with anxiety to just relax doesn't work. Their brain literally can't access calm logic in that moment. Anxiety isn't a choice. It's a neurological state. Over time, chronic anxiety physically changes the brain. Brain imaging studies show that people with long-term anxiety often have an overactive amygdala and a less active prefrontal cortex. The fear center gets stronger, while the calming center gets weaker. It's like training one muscle at the gym and completely ignoring the other. The more often anxiety fires, the easier it becomes for your brain to enter that state again. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain wires itself based on what you experience repeatedly. Anxiety also affects your hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. High levels of cortisol can actually shrink the hippocampus over time. This is why anxiety can make it harder to concentrate, remember things, or think clearly. Your brain is stuck in survival mode, and learning takes a back seat when survival feels urgent. This constant state of alertness is exhausting. Your brain was never designed to be on high alert all day, every day. When anxiety becomes chronic, your nervous system doesn't get a chance to reset. That's when people start experiencing burnout, brain fog, emotional numbness, and even physical pain. It's not all in your head. It's happening in your nervous system. Another powerful effect anxiety has on the brain is something called threat bias. When your amygdala is overactive, your brain starts scanning for danger everywhere. Neutral situations feel threatening. A normal facial expression looks judgmental. Silence feels like rejection. A small mistake feels like a disaster. Your brain is constantly asking, what could go wrong? Instead of, what is actually happening? And here's the scary part. The brain doesn't like uncertainty. When it doesn't have clear answers, it fills in the gaps, usually with worst-case scenarios. That's why anxiety creates overthinking. Your brain is trying to protect you by predicting every possible outcome, even the unlikely ones. Unfortunately, this backfires and keeps you trapped in mental loops. Anxiety also interferes with sleep, and sleep deprivation makes anxiety worse. When you don't sleep enough, your amygdala becomes up to 60% more reactive, while your prefrontal cortex becomes less effective. That means one bad night of sleep can literally make your brain more anxious the next day. It becomes a vicious cycle. Now here's something hopeful, and I really want you to hear this part. Just as anxiety can rewire your brain, so can recovery. The brain is not broken. It's adaptable. When you practice calming behaviors, slow breathing, physical exercise, mindfulness, or even just naming what you're feeling, you activate the prefrontal cortex again. Over time, this strengthens the connection between logic and emotion. Even something as simple as slow, deep breathing sends a signal through the vagus nerve to your brain that you're safe. This reduces cortisol and calms the amygdala. Movement, especially walking, tells your brain that you've escaped the threat, helping it exit survival mode. Learning about anxiety, like you're doing right now, also helps. Knowledge reduces uncertainty, and uncertainty fuels anxiety. Anxiety feels overwhelming because it hijacks the brain systems designed to protect you. But once you understand what's happening inside your head, the fear starts to lose its power. You're not weak. You're not broken. Your brain is just stuck in overprotective mode. And here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this video. Anxiety is not a permanent brain state. The same brain that learned fear can learn safety. With the right habits, support, and time, the brain can rewire itself. Calm is not something you force. It's something you teach your nervous system to remember. If this video helped you understand your mind a little better, make sure you stay with me here on this channel. We break down health and fitness topics in a way that actually makes sense, without fear, without myths, just science and real talk. And remember this, your brain is not your enemy. It's trying to protect you. You just have to teach it that you're safe again.